In this video, we're going to talk about integrating fertilizer into a strip till system, some of the advantages and challenges of making it work with strip till. From a plantability perspective, how important do you feel it is to match up your strip tiller width with your planter width?
In field, if you're on an RTK system, we run a 2 aerial system where we have both an aerial on the strip till unit and the one on the tractor, which is guiding the system. And we run the same system on our planter, aerial on the beacon on the planter and tractor. Up and down the field doesn't really matter. It's headlands could be an issue. You know, there's a learning curve on headlands and how to, especially if it's straight line, simple. No issues, but trying to get a planter to follow a curve, there's challenges.
Yeah. Mike, just curious if you could comment on, spring versus fall strip till, where you guys have started out, where you've kind of moved to now at this point.
Yeah, so we are primary fall strips. We've been lucky, most falls we get all of our fall strips in. We have done many plots fall strips versus spring strips. On the right soil, it doesn't make a difference. On the heavier soil, we do feel the fall strips are the way to go.
And just from a strip condition perspective?
Yeah, at least with the heavier soil, it has time to get that frost action. If it's like a sandy loam, I don't think it makes a whole lot different.
So again, Mike, a common question I hear from guys getting started with strip till, especially coming out of conventional till, is, if we're making those fall strips, do we need to hit those again in the springtime to really make a good seed bed?
Yeah, so we done like 3 years of plots with that. We thought it would help. From our economic and yield prospect, the simple answer is no. Stale seed bed is the most economical way to go. It doesn't yield any different than the refreshing, so the times you put your costs of hitting it again in the spring, you're not gaining any days of planting. So yeah, simple answer is refreshing, from what we've seen, had no benefits.
So you mentioned you don't like the second pass in the spring, you don't feel it delivers a lot to you. Did you do any yield tests to verify that, or you can just tell from what your experience?
Our experience is just don't waste your time on that second pass. Didn't bring anything to the table at all.
So again, common question from guys, if you're going to fertilizer in the strip, do you feel you still need starter fertilizer on the planter when you're coming back to plant that strip afterwards?
We don't have starter fertilizer on our planter, but we do run 60 pounds of nitrogen on a 2x2x2 system. But we don't run any P and K or starters on the planter.
So we've talked about some P and K program stuff. Just curious how your nitrogen programs evolved, going from no-till corn into strip-till corn.
Yeah, so basically we don't do any nitrogen with the strip tiller. And then we switched with our no-till system. Actually, all the nitrogen's up front, and so with strip till we went to 30-inch rows. So we thought with side dress. But one thing we kind of have learned is roots grow different in strip till versus conventional. So it's important, I think, with strip till, get your nitrogen up early, just so that it has time to get to your roots. Because in a strip till system, your roots go more straight down, where conventional, your roots grow more horizontal. So if you get too late and it gets dry, you get burnt real hard having that nitrogen too late in strips. So one thing we learned just recently is we put the nitrogen as close to after planting as possible, and we think that is the key, and we've seen it this year.
So going back to when you guys first got into strip till, Gary, what would be your key messages to another farmer who's maybe thinking about it themselves and getting into it, big challenges you guys overcame getting into the system?
Finding a unit that, this took a couple years to figure out, that would contain the soil when you're trying to create a berm. This unit we have behind us is probably one of the best at that. And our first system, soil was kind of more or less flying all over the place as you were trying to create a berm, and wherever there was a chunk of soil in the middle of between the rows, ended up to be a hole in your berm.
Right.
And that hole would never go away. So when you're coming in the spring and planting in the spring, you're planting in ununiform berms.
So taking the time to get some experience with equipment on your farm, or one that's going to do the job you're happy with, would that be a...
Yeah. And that's where the shank machine showed its real benefits to us. And not every shank machine.
Right.
this one in particular. Maybe there's a couple other models, but I've seen other machines that aren't doing the trick either.
Yeah.
It's all about soil containment.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you bring up, it's got to stay in that berm.